All right, everyone, we are live with Stream of Consciousness with Dan. And today I'm joined by someone who's been woven in and out of my life for quite a long time, Colton Cox. We went through middle school, high school, and even college together. And it's been incredible watching the path he's carved out through music, through his teaching, and through community. So I'm so excited to dig into his journey. We're going to have a ton of fun. We're going to tell some stories and just reconnect in a way that we haven't in a couple of years. So, how are you doing today, Colton?
I'm doing pretty good, Dan. It's nice to see you.
It's nice to see you too. I wish you could just like stand up and we wouldn't even see your head, just to show the audience how tall you are. But
hmm
but no. So before we get into everything you've been doing lately, I just wanted to start with kind of one of my favorite memories of you. We talked about it off air when we're in middle school. We're on the basketball court. You're like 6'2". It felt like you were about 6'9" compared to everybody else. And I believe we were both on the B team, if I remember
Yes,
correctly. And I don't think we won a single game.
we did not.
Okay, I just wanted
But
to make
in our
sure I was
defense,
remembering that.
I actually we have to correct that statement because it was the A team that had zero victories. The B team, I think, won two games.
Oh, we won two. Okay. Oh my, that's just like I remember that because I was talking to my dad earlier, and I'm like, "Oh, do you remember Colton Cox? We went to school together." He's like, "Oh yeah, the tall guy with the buzz cut. Did you have a buzz cut? I can't remember."
My hair was very short at that point in time. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's so funny. But so no, so I just want to give you a quick chance to just kind of talk about what your life was like growing up and just how big was music a part of your life always? Because I mean, obviously, when we were in high school and stuff together, you were always in orchestra and things like that. But just kind of talk about your young Colton music experience.
Yeah, I mean, so I started playing the upright bass in orchestra. So that was my very first instrument. That was in the
Okay.
fourth grade. So like music definitely was a part of my life early on, but I wouldn't say it was like a focus at that point. It was something we had to play an instrument for a music class
Yeah.
at school, and I was just I've always been tall. At that point in my life, the orchestra teacher, Mrs. Higby, who I don't know where she's at now.
I remember Mrs. Higby actually. I've heard that
Yes,
name.
well, yeah, she basically insisted that I play bass because I was one of the only kids that was big enough to play the bass. So I kind of got stuck with it, but I really enjoyed playing bass, and that's how I met our classmate Gus Applequist, who's another Salina
Yep,
face that's could be familiar to some Salina folks. So,
absolutely.
but yeah, I started there. And I played bass all the way up to freshman year of high school, which is actually when I switched to guitar. Um, and guitar
Okay.
had been around. My grandpa played guitar the entire time I was growing up. He's a big part of the reason why I picked it up in the first place. But it was just I started showing interest in it in middle school, and he just proposed to my mom that he could pay for lessons for me for a little while, and I got started doing that. Took lessons from Drew Davis, who's here in Kansas City now.
Oh, cool.
But yeah,
So is there a particular album or song that you remember? Because I remember one for me where I was just like, I love music. Like it just hits you in a way that you really can't explain until you hear like that one song. So is there a moment like that for you?
yeah. This is actually kind of like one of my like guilty pleasure artists. Although I hardly ever listen to him now. But so
You
very,
don't have to
very
lie. You
first.
don't have to lie.
I'm not going to. Don't you worry. No. So very first CD I ever bought for myself was actually "Stained." If you know the song, it's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah. There's no shame in that at all. There's no shame in that.
But yeah, so that was my first CD, and that was kind of like what I really wanted to do at that time was do like heavy music. Like I really liked metal and screamo because, of course, that was like what was happening when we were
Hmm.
in high school, middle school too. But that's like what really started off my whole like kind of music collection was Stained. And then I think what kind of took me down a weirder path is I heard my first Radiohead album when I was in high school. So it
Okay.
was like I still kept listening to metal and scream and all that kind of stuff, but I had this kind of weirder element kind of diverge away from that. But yeah, that Stain CD was really the formative one.
I love asking that question because, like I said, I've interviewed quite a few musicians now, and a ton of them like go to those types of bands where it's Stained, it was Green Day, it was Blink
Right.
182, and for me, it was actually Good Charlotte. That was the
Oh
first
yeah.
CD I ever got. I It was The Young and the Hopeless.
Yep.
I
That's the
I
one.
played I remember because I had a crappy Honda Accord without a CD player, so I would have to
Uh-huh.
plug in the
Yep.
cassette
Yep.
adapter, but I would play that CD in my car just over and over and over again. So that was kind of my album
Yeah.
that really got me addicted to that genre of music because I'm still a
The
huge
kids
punk guy. I just love punk rock.
the kids don't know what we did to listen to music back in those days. Like
I
they didn't
know.
they have their MP3 players and their iPhones and all that kind of stuff. They don't even have MP3 players anymore. That's how old I am now. But yeah,
Oh,
I they didn't know we had to pop a whole cassette deck into the tape machine and have our CDs sitting on the car seat next to us.
yep. Oh man, I love it. We grew up in This is why I'm so
That
excited to talk to you. We grew up in a time where there was just enough technology that it was like
yeah.
kind of technology, but you really had to like hack it and like make it in a different
We
way.
truly we lived through that time frame of the kind of like shift from like fully analog to like digital, and it was like that weird in between time where you still had to
And
disconnect the phone line to connect to the
oh
internet and
yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah, so I don't know about you, but I remember going home from school and the first thing you do was go on to MSN Messenger.
Yeah,
That'd be
of
the first
course.
thing you do. That's the first thing you do. And then mom would be upstairs, I need to make a phone call or something like that. And you're like, Mom, I'm talking to someone. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think there's, oh, that generation, no one else can understand that but us.
Mhm.
So that's
No,
hilarious.
truly.
Oh, that is good. So let's talk a little Salina Central. Was there obviously you were playing the guitar and everything, but was there a
Yeah.
teacher or a even another classmate that really just kind of made an impression on you and that really just kind of helped you, get through high school because high school's hard.
Yeah, I mean, I can think two teachers and several people, but one in particular that kind of like shaped a lot of my what I did in school. So I was in choir, and I had both Josh Wilden and Ryan Holmquist as choir teachers because they
Mhm.
had a little trade off. But Holmquist was definitely he came my junior year, I think, of high school. Big influence on me. I mean, I still say quotes from him to this day. Uh, if he happens to watch this, I hope he does. But I say the phrase good enough for who it's for" all
Oh,
the time. But yeah,
uh,
he had a really big impact. I think he really showed me a good music teacher, how he handled our groups. You know, we were one of the first classes he ever taught. So at least
mhm,
I think we were. He was very young at that time, and it was just it's cool to see a young guy kind of figuring out how to be a teacher to kids who
mhm.
are like maybe 10 years younger than him. You know, but then also Chad Newlick, our theater teacher. Uh, I was a national honor thespian, so I had gosh, 1,200 hours, I think, in our theater department from like, yeah. Yeah. I think that might be the international one. I can't remember what the guidelines, but like it was a lot. It was a lot of time in that theater department.
It was wow. Well, that's actually really funny. So Chad would I think he coached me in baseball maybe my freshman or sophomore
Yeah,
year, I believe, and then he always was, like, trying to get me to do, like, what were the really
theater.
what were the really short ones called? The
One
really
X.
short oh, the 1X. He was always trying
Yes.
to get the 1X, I'm just like, "No, no, just no."
That was his recruitment driver, you know, like
Yeah.
that's how he was really all about, like trying to get people who were not just theater kids to do theater. Like he wanted to
Oh,
get the sports kids, he wanted to get the outsiders, all the weird kids. Like he really tried
oh.
to get as many people as possible as he could in the program.
But I know our a thespian program at Salina Central was super amazing. We had so many talented
My
thespians.
my class, or our class, I should say, we were the first to go to International Thespian Festival with a show, which I was in. Noise is off. We were the first ones to do that, I think, in the school's history, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah,
I could be
I
wrong.
just remember going to a lot of the shows because I do like musical theater and just theater in general. It's just not my I just don't
Right.
think I could do it. But like I remember going to a lot of the shows and they were very, very good. I mean, so I really
Yeah, we had a
liked
lot of
those.
passionate people in that program, and many of them still do theater all around the country. If you remember Mark Warner, he
Oh yeah.
I don't know if he's in theater anymore, but gosh, he did technical directing for a long time, helping out a lot of different theaters around different places in the country. So
Yeah, well, that's great. So I'm going to go off script really quick. We're going to go best worst school lunch in high school.
that's a great question.
You're,
Okay, so I
we'll
have to
see how you're
remember some of
feeling
the.
if you want to start best or worst, and then I'll
I
go with mine.
I'll tell you my experiences. So I will say, I wouldn't say it's the best, but it's the one I ate the most was definitely the chicken strips from the like, I don't know like
Yeah.
what they called it. I can't remember. But you had to
Yep.
go through a separate line and
Yep.
like get those. The
Oh
chicken strips
my.
I got all the time. I think worst. I don't know about high school. I can tell you the worst school lunch I ever had was in elementary school, and it was for Dr. Seuss Day. And I don't remember what they called it, but they basically did these weird like cheese roll up things. And I had it, and I remember I threw up afterwards, and it was orange. So
Oh
that's
man.
definitely the
Well,
worst one I've ever
hopefully
had.
the lunch lady's not listening to this.
Yeah, right.
Oh, so
Yeah.
that's actually super funny because the chicken strips, if I remember, like costed more than like a normal lunch. So
Yes.
I think you so like I would eat the chicken strips a lot as well because they were
Yeah.
just I don't they were like crack. They were just
Yeah.
so good. And
And they
but I
really
would
weren't like
remember
top notch chicken strips. They're pretty solid.
and I just remember because they costed more and my mom would be like, "Well, I gave you this amount of money for lunch for the month. Where did all of it go?" It's like it's already only 2 weeks in. But I actually liked the chicken fried steak.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
But the worst for me is that Fiestada pizza.
You
Do
know,
you
I
remember Fiestada
almost said it.
pizza?
I certainly do. The octagonal shaped,
Yeah.
weird, crusty pizza.
Yeah. Oh, that was
Yeah.
nasty.
Yeah. The little like meatballs that were like made out of dog food or
Yeah.
something.
I don't even know if I feed my dog that bad of food, but
Yeah, maybe not.
oh, but so we're gonna fast forward to Wichita State. So you graduated Salina Central, which would have been 2010,
Yes.
and what what did you declare your major in, and what kind of were your goals going into college?
So I did jump around a little bit on majors. I started out as a music major, and I ended up being a music major. I graduated with a guitar performance degree. Um, but basically, I college was a weird time for me. I went to school, and it was about my sophomore year of college when I kind of realized that I didn't need to go to school for what I was trying to do.
Mhm.
Um, which is, the singer-songwriter thing that I'm doing
Okay.
now, because they didn't really teach any of that kind of stuff. They taught classical music and jazz, but like, there weren't classes about songwriting or like music business or anything like that. There are now. I mean, I don't know about songwriting, but the program has definitely evolved quite a bit since I was in school.
Right.
But basically, I realized that I just didn't need to go to school for that. So I thought about dropping out for a minute, and I ended up not doing that. This is why I changed majors a few times. But I tried out. I switched to theory and composition for a little while, which I thought would relate to songwriting, but it's really more centered on kind of like writing orchestral pieces and like symphonies and stuff like that.
That sounds
Uh,
terrible.
yeah, I mean, it's definitely a very academic degree. Like most people who are theory and composition majors go on to get their doctorate.
Oh,
Um,
gotcha. Okay.
so it's very heavy.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that sounds brutal. It sounds
Yes, and I will give praise to them. The youngest member of the staff, theory and composition staff at that time, basically pulled me aside one day and was like, "I see that you have like ability and you have potential to write pieces, but what you want to do is not what we're providing here, basically."
Mhm.
So I switched out of that. I tried doing uh, journalism for a little bit. I thought about being a music journalist. Hated it. And then eventually went back to doing guitar performance for my final section of college. So I ended up taking I went to school for 5 years rather than four because I jumped around a little bit. So
Well, I was 4.5, so I'm right there with you, and I switched. I was right there with Tyrone doing the aerospace engineering
right, I
thing,
remember that.
and I got one semester in. I don't even think I took a class, but since I joined that fraternity, there were a
Hmm.
lot of upperclassmen that were in that field, and I was just like, nope, this is not for me. So I switched to business.
Yeah.
So yeah, that I don't even know if there's a single person, well, maybe Tyrone, obviously, but like you always switch. Like everyone switches. It's wild. Like you just have to be adaptable, and it obviously worked out for you. So I'm going to tell you a quick
Oh.
story about what I remember in Fairmount Towers, our very drab, dull, pretty crappy dorm.
Which are not there anymore.
They're not. They got torn down. You're right.
They did.
But
Yeah.
I remember. I'll tell even this story first. So I get to Fairmount Towers the first day. You know, my mom and dad are dropping me off. My mom's a mess. You know,
Yeah.
she's like, I didn't have a car. Well, I had a car, but she's like, you don't need one at college. You can just ride your bike or whatever. So I just had a bicycle. So I put my bicycle in the bike rack at Fairmount Towers and was taking
Hmm.
up, my first box to the dorm room, whatever. Came back down, bicycle's gone, got stolen.
Yep.
Unbelievable. So there's one Fairmount story. And then I remember, what floor were you on? Were you on 5 or were you on a different floor?
So I was on the second floor,
Oh, you
but
were on
my
2.
girlfriend at the time, yeah, my girlfriend at the time, B. Birchall, she was on the fifth floor.
Oh,
So I
okay,
spent a
so
lot of time
that
up
makes
there.
sense. Okay, so I think that,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes it full circle because I was on the 5th floor and there were quite a few Salina people in the dorm actually. And so I
Yeah.
connected
There was.
with obviously B and you and Tyrone, and I just remember you sitting in obviously it was probably B's dorm room just ripping Blackbird by the Beatles. And I'm just like,
I've
I
been
mean, I
playing
know
that since
Colton can play, but you freaking rock. Like, where did this come from?
yeah, I mean, I started playing that song in high school. Actually, I just wasn't very good at it at that point. um, but yeah, I mean, I think that's how I made a lot of friends. Actually, that song in particular, I remember a separate instance sitting in the hallway of my floor of the dorm, playing that in like our first couple of weeks there because
Mhm.
I was just desperate to kind of and nothing against Salina. I was just kind of desperate to shed my Salina self. You know what I mean? I was finally out on my own. I get to be the person I want to be. I get to dictate how I live my life, all that kind of stuff. Very like 18-year-old going to college type feelings. But yeah, I mean, I played that in my hallway, and I had several other music majors that lived around me, and they all like came out and joined. Some of them sang with me and stuff, and it was very. Um, those people, I haven't talked to them in years, but I mean, they were my friends throughout the rest of college, pretty much. So,
Mhm.
but good people.
Yeah, I'll just never forget that because so I grew up playing piano, so I was good at piano, but you can't just like haul a piano around in the dorms.
Yeah, right.
Uh, and then I played the clarinet in band. I don't know if you remember that at all, but
I
uh,
do. Yes.
and then in college, I was like, well, I want to, try something. So I bought a ukulele, and I just thought I was pretty decent, and that's why it was just hilarious when I went into that room and just hear you playing this, and I'm like, wow, I really suck.
Well, and I'll say too, I do think it was probably not long after that, like 19 or 20. I think when I really kind of started figuring out how to really play and perform.
Mhm.
Because I mean, I played. I don't know if you remember at lunch in high school, we had that like stage that sometimes they'd let us
Oh
perform on
yeah.
and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't remember what they called that even, but I did that all the time. But I've been doing theater stuff, and like I was in choir and everything like that, and I'd done a bunch of performances, but I just don't think I really figured out how to be a performer until like around 19 or 20. And I'm
Okay.
still learning more about that as time goes by. But I think that's really like when I started figuring out like it's not just playing the song, like there's more to it than that.
No,
But yeah.
absolutely. So I'm gonna do another quick story, and then I want to get into kind of some advice you'd give for people that were in your shoes at, age 18 going to college. But I have to get this
Mm.
story off my chest. I don't remember if you heard of the Fairmount Puker.
I think I had heard some whispers, some rumors at that time.
So I'm gonna come clean. I'm gonna get on the record. I think it was either the first or second week of college, and you're getting to know everyone. It's a completely different world. You can do whatever you want, whatever.
Right.
And so, a bunch of the people on my floor are like, we're gonna go to the hookah bar. And I'm like, well, what the hell's a hookah bar? I don't even know what this is.
Yeah.
I've never smoked anything in my life. And so we get to the hookah bar. I'm, smoking the hookah, doing whatever. And I get back to Fairmount Towers, but I'm by myself. I'm in the elevator and I'm spinning. I'm absolutely just spinning, so nauseous, and I throw up
Mhm.
absolutely everywhere. Didn't tell a soul. So for
Of course.
everyone listening, I am the Fairmount Puker. Um,
Confessional.
so yeah, that's pretty embarrassing, but that's college.
It sure is, and I'll save it for another time. But I have had my own hookah smoking puking experience that was just as embarrassing. So,
Oh, I won't make you tell it, but so yeah, so if you could just maybe give any advice even to yourself back at 18 or anyone, who wants to just pursue music, would you tell them to go to college? Would you tell them to move to Nashville or LA or New York, or what would you kind of, yeah, just what advice would you give to them?
I think something that I've learned, especially kind of starting my own business, not just the studio, but running my own songwriting career and all that kind of stuff. Um, it's all right to make mistakes. Like if you figure it out, I probably shouldn't have gone to college, but I don't necessarily regret finishing and getting my degree. And it's helped me
Mhm.
out in a few situations. I wish it hadn't created quite so much debt for myself, but that's just our college system. But yeah, I mean, you have to try stuff to know what's right for you and what's not right for you. Like just because you do something and maybe it like sets you off course for a little while or something. Like that's just life, you know. Like
Yep.
you can't be so hard on yourself for putting an effort into something, and even if it doesn't work out, like you learned something from it. Still, you can still
Hmm.
learn from failures, you know.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And
But yeah.
do you think, and I've kind of been struggling with this a lot through all of the conversations I've had with people on my podcast, is do you think there is too much pressure? And there might be a little Charlie Kirk in me, which I don't want to get into that, um, but do you think the college
Right.
system is broken?
I don't think it's necessarily broken. I think that there's a lot of flaws to it, just like anything that we have. I think what really was kind of the downfall of the whole thing of it was there's this kind of societal pressure to send your kids to college as if that was the only option for everybody.
Hmm.
And I think we can see clearly now the effects of that, where like the job market did not support that idea of you go to college, you get a job in the career that you intended to get your degree in or
Hmm.
whatever, you know. I mean, it's I think the thing, and this is something I would tell my college self too, is it's like only go to college if you 100% know that you have to. Not because it's like an obligation or anything like that, but because you can't go further in the thing that you want to do unless you go to college, you know?
Gotcha. Yep,
Like
absolutely.
if I could have gone back, I definitely, the things that I'm most thankful for going to music school is learning about music theory and being able to like think and work on the same level as people who are classically trained, who have played jazz, people who are
Hmm.
very, very skilled musicians. If I didn't have that ability, I would not have the kind of people that I know and play with around me.
Right.
But I also know that in that time I was going to school, I could have also been kind of exploring a different side of the music industry, getting to know people who did more similar things than what I do, like songwriting and just playing rock music and like that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
And you still meet those people in school, but like, you know, it's just different. There's just different sides of the field, you know?
No, yeah, absolutely. That's a great answer. I completely agree with that. Like, obviously, if you want to be a doctor, you can't not go to college to be a doctor. Like, if you want
Right.
to be a
Right.
lawyer, you can't be a lawyer without going to law school. So, but no, I think that's great. So, you've graduated and you were in Wichita still for how many years? And what music store?
Almost.
Because you're working at a music store, I believe. What music store was it?
So I was in Wichita for almost 10 years after I graduated.
Oh, 10 years. Okay.
Yeah, I was there for a long time. But yeah, hold on, let me think. So I worked at Damn Music. They're on the west side of Wichita. They've been there now since
Okay.
2003, so a little over 20 years. Um, but I worked there. I started out as a retail associate, just selling guitars and all that kind
Hmm.
of stuff. And it was about a year into working there that they asked me to. The owner asked me to take over the lesson program. So basically, scheduling the lessons, doing all the administrative stuff, but also getting to do
Gotcha.
some substitute teaching and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I worked there for 6 years, and I think that was really a big part of where I'm at now. Not only did I meet like most of the Wichita music scene, either as the teachers who worked there or like the people they played with would come in, but also, you know, Kevin Dam himself and many of the other people work there. They're great people that really care about running an honest business and not just
Hmm.
trying to sell products to people.
Right.
Um, and it was just, to me, it was a really big part of kind of helping me learn how to run an ethical business, basically.
Oh, well, that's great. It's very rare for me to, because I play, I'm up to I think 10 instruments. Not well by any stretch of the imagination, but at least sounds like something's going on. But
Mm-hmm.
it's rare to go into a music store where you don't just feel like you belong. Like, I mean, you can go into maybe a guitar center and you don't feel like you belong, but like
Sure.
those local music stores, I remember in Wichita, I would go to one because I had my ukulele and I didn't know how the hell to restring it. So I would go to this music store and he was just so nice and just so he would like kind of like even teach me how to do it, and I'm like, well,
Mhm.
are you crazy? Like, if you teach me how to do this, then you're not going to get paid next time that I need my ukulele restring. But that's it's just so it's such a community. Music is such a community. It crosses bridges. And so I guess when did you start teaching?
So I've been teaching off and on since I was about like 19 years old.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say that I was like a full-time teacher at that point, but definitely like had a few handfuls of students, maybe two or three at a time, something like that. But when I'd say when I actually started teaching, it was while I was at the store. So I would fill in on lessons for just like private one-on-one lessons. But in my last couple years that I was there, we kind of revamped our rock band program. They call it Rock Academy,
Oh,
um,
okay.
and basically very similar, not exactly, but similar to School of Rock, where you put kids in bands together, they learn some songs, and they perform at the end of it. But I taught those classes. I taught one of them where I was fully in charge of it, and then I helped with I think two or three other ones where I was kind of an assistant.
Hmm.
Um, but but I mean, yeah, I mean, just I think the big advantage for me was being able to not be the teacher in that circumstance when I was running the program, because a lot of music teachers don't get the administrative side of it. They only do the teaching, so they don't really know
Gotcha.
how to like find new students, how to like promote themselves, yada yada
Hmm.
yada. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I've been teaching for a long time. To long answer your short question.
But no, so I also wanted to ask because to me, like I've mentioned 100 times, music is so important to me. It literally saved my life. It literally did. Um, so why do you think that, kids should be learning music and why teaching music is so important?
I have always equated music to kind of like monks who are seeking nirvana. Like
Yeah.
basically like to me, it's like this thing is like it doesn't matter your skill level with the instrument, because as long as you're persistent with it, you'll get better. Like that's there, it's unavoidable, unavoidable. Um, but to me, it's like I have felt throughout my life at different points that at the times I'm growing musically is also the times that I'm growing as a person. And it's like they just seem so very intertwined. Like I'm not trying to teach you music because it's like, oh, you need to know how to learn how to play a music instrument. I'm teaching you music because it's something that you can make a companion for the rest of your life. Like you'll have this instrument or just even just the understanding of how music works and appreciating it. Like you have
Hmm.
something that fulfills you for the rest of your life. I just think that's really, really special. And not all hobbies can do that.
No, boy, I could not agree more. It's really hilarious actually. So have a I've just picked up the Native American flute.
All right.
It is a very beautiful instrument. It's very simple, but it's so funny that you said that because my sister came, excuse me, to ugh, came to Thanksgiving recently. Well, I guess recently. God, it's already February. Uh,
I know.
but she came to Thanksgiving and she picked up the flute and like she'd never played it before, but it was so funny because she just like made it her own and she called it like the Dance of the Wolf. And no, it wasn't the most proficiently played song in the entire world, but like you could still appreciate it. Like she felt it in
Mhm.
that moment. She's like, I'm doing the Dance of the Wolf. So I don't know, like that's just what music means to me. It just uh
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really primitive connection to our whole culture as a human species. Like we're able to play instruments that people played hundreds of years ago, even if they look different, sound different, whatever. It's like this. It's one of the many threads that kind of connects our past to the future. So.
it does. And so what before we take a quick break, what inspired your move to Kansas
Mm.
City?
So at the time I was in Wichita. I had been playing music. in several different bands, including my own projects, for a good stretch of time. And it was just kind of feeling like I had kind of stalled out a little bit. I don't think it was any one particular's fault. I'd been through kind of a rough breakup a few years after I graduated college, and this is someone who I felt like I was going to be spending the rest of my life with.
Mm.
So it was rough, and that's kind of when I really first started playing in local bands and stuff like that. And had seemed really exciting for a few years, and then it just kind of felt like, well, I'm not making any progress forward here. So it just felt like it was time for me to move on and try something different. And I kind of never lost contact, but reconnected with Brandon Jensen, who's a good friend of mine, has been since high school. And he lived here at the time and started visiting him. And it just kind of felt like, maybe Kansas City is where I should be. So I moved up here.
Well, I hate Brandon Jensen. I'm absolutely kidding, because we were drum majors together.
Right.
I went to prom with his cousin.
Yeah.
With her cousin. With his cousin, sorry. Oh my gosh. No, but how much courage did that take, though? Because I mean, obviously you're doing a good thing with your teaching and, working at the music shop, but it's not like you're, making bucks after bucks after bucks. Like, it had to take a lot
Right.
of courage to do that. So where did that courage come from, or did you just have the faith in yourself?
I think it was a lot of faith in myself, honestly. I mean, I really wanted to keep pursuing music as like my main career. And at that point, you could argue I was already doing that. I was working at a music store. I was performing fairly frequently. But I just didn't feel that way on the inside. I didn't feel like it was going successful. I kind of feel differently now when I look back on it, but just didn't feel like I was really getting to where I wanted to go.
Okay.
And so it felt like Kansas City, there was just more opportunities here. It's a bigger city. It's got more connections to kind of the wider American music scene, literally the crossroads in the middle of the country. But that was a big motivator. It was like, I want to pursue performing and playing full time. And I'm still kind of sitting in a mix in there somewhere, but I definitely feel like I'm closer to that goal now than I was when I first moved up here. So
Yeah, well, I think that's just great, just advice to take a leap of faith and trust yourself. And, all good things don't come easily. And obviously, you've worked incredibly hard your entire life to get to where you are now. So, yeah, I hope everyone listening can, just take a little piece of that courage with them in their musical journey, to be completely honest. So, well, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be playing a portion of Stuck by Colton Cox. It's jazzy, it's riffy, it kind of gets me dancing. I don't know, I just really liked it. So I'm excited for the audience to hear it.
Bright green eyes, they pierce the night, burn through my veins, ignite a fire. I long to hold you close, show you love that you have not known. Take it slow, take our time. Am I so wrong for giving you all my
Welcome back to Stream of Consciousness with Dan. We're going to get 785 real. We're going to go Mount Rushmore of Salina, Kansas restaurants. Colton, do you want to go first or do you want me to take it off?
I'll start it off because you mentioned this and the wheels started turning. Okay, so I know a very important one for me that I don't know if it's there or not anymore was La Hacienda.
Okay.
Are they still around or are they not there
I'm not
anymore? Do you
sure,
know?
but it was good.
Yeah, I think they may have closed, but I'm not 100% on that. So
Oh, I will 100% accept that. It doesn't make my Mount Rushmore, but I I I respect that
Mexican food
choice.
is very important to my family. We're all like massive Mexican food people.
Oh, so I'm gonna go something, and it ties into our high school roots. So
Oh Lord.
obviously we weren't allowed off-campus lunch, or weren't supposed to.
No.
But I was in, again, don't arrest me, don't sue me, don't do anything. But I had a physics teacher. Why am I blanking on his name?
It
Who was
depends.
the
It was
physics
this
teacher?
Goodwin.
Oh, yes, Mr. Goodwin. Okay, yeah. So it was Mr. Goodwin, and it was the lunch period, and I would go to Imperial Garden with Jim Reed in his
Yeah.
Firebird. So Imperial Garden is
Oh
on
man.
my Mount Rushmore because I just remember just pounding General Tso's chicken as fast as I could in the car and get back to class.
That'll bring me to my number two, because as you know, in high school, we were not supposed to go off campus for lunch. That means it never happened. What Mr. Newlick would do is bogeys.
Oh my God, that's my number two.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a slave to the chili cheese fries for a long time.
Dude, Bogies is the bomb.
Yeah,
And
for Salina people who don't know bogeys, it's like kind of like old like 90s Applebee's esque aesthetic. Well, but like pictures of movie stars and old like golden age movies and stuff like that everywhere. But
oh,
like burgers, fries, shakes, fantastic. All of it.
like 700 flavors of shakes too.
Truly, truly. Like,
Oh,
yeah, wonderful
all right.
place.
Well, that was easy. So you're up again because I chose Bogies as my number two already. I already had that in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Salina. So I think I don't know the last one, but I think we both need to mention, even if it's not on our list, Cozy's, the
You
burger,
have to
the
mention
Cozy Inn.
it. Yep.
It's royalty. I mean, it's Salina royalty, But across the street from Cozy Inn is one of my favorite pizza places that I know is not there anymore. The Scheme.
Colton,
Is that yours?
my mother waitressed at the Scheme.
Oh, did she? I didn't know that. Yeah,
Salina is
top of
not
the list.
that small, people. I promise that there's more restaurants than this, but
There's some really
uh
good restaurants that we probably won't mention on this list. So
no, but also underrated though, their lunch sandwiches are pretty good too. Did you ever have any of their
yeah,
lunch sandwiches? Yeah, they're very good.
I did. Not very often, but I did.
Oh my God. It's like the segment is going
Yes.
so well, but also going so terribly because we're saying the same thing. All right, I'm going number four first before you ruin it. So I'm just gonna go something very classic because I remember when I was really young, it was called Jim's Chicken.
Dude, yeah, that was my number four. So you, yeah, no, that's Jim's Chicken is what got me into fried chicken in the first place. Like I had eaten fried chicken at home that was homemade, and it was like, oh, this is all right. But Jim's, especially like before they changed their management, like original Jim's chicken, perfect.
Oh, all right. Well, that was, I don't even know
We
what to
just have
say.
great minds think alike, Dan. That's all it is.
That couldn't have went any better. Yeah, 100% honest. Well, we'll do the next Mount Rushmore in a second, I hope. I think we'll have some different answers on that one. But I want to talk about your
Yeah, probably.
2025, because 2025 was a
Mm.
huge year for you. You got
Hmm.
married. You have your own studio now. So just kind of talk about what your life is looking like right now.
I mean, I really can't complain. I have my studio here. I actually I split the space with my wife. She has her own business that she's running. She
Oh,
sells
cool.
vintage clothing. Yeah. She loves that stuff. But yeah, so I've got the studio I'm running. I've been doing a daytime job where I work at a convention center where I do audio and video stuff. So I
Mhm.
hook up lighting and do like fly rigs and all that kind of stuff. A really interesting job. And I haven't performed as much in the last year or so because I've had the wedding and just lots of other stuff going on. But I'm
Mhm.
kind of resurging into doing all that again. I've got a show this next week that'll be my first show I'd played since April, I think. No, June last year. So
Okay.
it's been a while.
Well, no, well, that's awesome what you're doing because as we've discussed throughout this conversation, just how important it is to teach people music. It's brought me, like I said, people from Australia to Ireland to Canada. It it's amazing. Like I've been into this. It's called Acadian. So it's a very
Mhm.
small community in kind of the northeast of Canada, and they're very French, very, very, very French. And I don't know what the hell they're singing half the time, but it doesn't mean that I can't appreciate their music.
Mhm.
So, yeah, no, so I super pumped with what you're doing there because it means the world. And are you doing just mainly guitar, or are there how many other instruments are you teaching?
So guitar is my main instrument. That's what I got my degree in. But I also teach piano. I teach bass, ukulele, and vocal. I teach vocal as well.
Hmm.
So
So, as someone who has done music lessons in the past, but sometimes just maybe like the money isn't there, or I'm not, you just, can't commit to, that schedule. How can
yeah.
you practice on your own efficiently? Because especially as an adult, we're always working, we've always got a million things going on. So, like, if I'm spending 30 minutes on the guitar, I want to spend 30 minutes on the guitar, getting better and not just, I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's a really good question and one I've been asked many times. I think there's kind of two like tenets to it, right? So basically, with your practice, you want that practice to be as efficient as possible
Mhm.
because often you don't have the time to do, an hour of practice or, longer than that. I mean, if you're in music school, a lot of the time they want you to do 4 or 5 hours a day, you know.
Mhm.
Um, so basically, you have to know what you're going to practice and know what you need to work on specifically, not just kind of a nebulous like, oh, pick up my guitar and play.
Mhm.
So being focused and having a specific thing you're going to work on, and then two, the thing that you're working on, you want it to be something that you're interested in. You want it to be something that gives you the motivation to practice it. A lot of times for people, it's like a particular song, like they want to learn that particular song, and so they get kind of obsessed with it because they have to know how to play it.
Mhm.
And that's kind of the thing. Learning an instrument is obsession. Like it's what it is. Like you have to be able to sit and play one small melodic passage that's like the hardest thing you've ever played until you get it right because you just can't help it. It's like a compulsion to do it.
Yep.
At least that's the goal that you're looking for.
No,
But yeah,
it echoes exactly what I've talked about with a lot of other people. Michael was like, it's just like music is it's an addiction. It really is an
Hmm.
addiction. And like, so my go-to, like if I'm ever feeling down or feeling, I had a crappy day, I will literally just go to my guitar, plug in my amp, and just rip Holiday by Green Day.
Hmm.
And it's the best feeling in the world.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, like it's more important that you pick up the guitar and play it than, just think like, oh, I need to practice. And like, oh, I didn't practice what I wanted to practice. I didn't accomplish whatever. That doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like the fact that you picked it up in the first place is the most important thing. Like you can't get better at guitar if you don't ever touch it. Like
Right.
that's just a simple fact. So even if you I think people too expect like that instant gratification of like, oh, I learned a whole song in one day. And it's like, well, sometimes the song is going to take you a month or longer even. I mean, it's really like it's not about accomplishing it. It's making small growth on a consistent
Hmm.
basis.
Yep. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. So let's put you in a between a rock and a hard place. So my sister recently got engaged. So
Oh, congratulations to her.
congratulations, Alyssa. Um, but no, she tasked me with playing Pachelbel Canon in D as she
Ah,
walks down the aisle.
yeah.
So do you have any advice? So I bought a book off the internet and it has like a 1 through 5 level of like the
Hmm.
piano. And so I'm like, oh God, I definitely not getting the 5. I'm not doing that. But like,
Hmm.
so like, just what advice would you give? Because I want to keep it simple and about her, but I also don't want to like suck.
I think so. It's cool that you've got like different levels of it. So, what I would recommend is you get to the level that feels most comfortable to you, and then you just practice the crap out of that one. Because, as you just said, it's not about you. So, we don't need the flashy Pocket Bells canon. We just
Mhm.
need you to be able to play it solidly and in rhythm.
That is fair enough. So I think I can probably get to the 3. I definitely already have the 2 down. The two's easy, but I could probably try to get to the 3. Uh, which is funny because I had a book way back when I started piano, but it was in C. So obviously no
Mm,
sharps or flats or anything, so it was way
right.
easier. And now this gosh dang D sharp and F sharp are in there, and I'm like, "Ugh." But that's
Yeah,
okay. No,
it'll get weird real quick if you end up playing like an F natural or a C natural. Getting into minor Pocket Bells canon.
oh man. Oh, that's so funny. But I know I can mess up, so I'll tell a quick story. Sorry, Alyssa, again. But when I got married, my sister was my best man. It was a very small wedding, small intimate wedding. So I just had my sister be my best man. And she went to the wrong side of the aisle. And I'm like, hello, I'm over here. Like, what do you do? So I don't know. So I can maybe mess up a little bit. It'll be okay.
My bass player was a wedding DJ. Well, just a DJ, but it's more often than not a wedding DJ for probably about 2 or 3 years. And he told his officiant, who is one of his very good friends since high school, like you have to tell people after you start the ceremony to sit down, or else they won't sit down. And he harped it like 4 or 5 times that day. He's like, Wyatt, make sure you tell people to sit down. And what did he not do when the ceremony came along? He didn't tell
Elma said
people to
that.
sit down.
Oh gosh, yeah. You just have to know, and I'm sure something went wrong at your wedding too. I would imagine
Oh,
something
absolutely.
did.
Absolutely.
And no one's gonna remember anyway.
It's too big of an event for it to go perfectly. Like there's too many
Yeah.
moving parts to not have something messed up. So
Oh gosh. All right, so we're going to Mount Rushmore of our bands or artists. I don't think we're gonna get any overlap, but we will see. I'm
we'll
starting.
see.
My favorite album of all time is Deja Entendu by the band Brand New. That's my favorite album of all time.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a classic in the genre. So
Oh man, when he just rips on oh, what is it? No one will ever know, or what's that?
Mm.
No 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 no. It kind of sounds like that Papa Roach song, Last Resort, but it's prettier.
Right.
But no, that album's just incredible. I love that album.
I listened to The God and Devil Are Raging Inside of Me, I think is the name of the album. Or maybe that's just a song. I can't remember.
Oh, by Brand New?
I think so. I think it
Oh,
was after Deja and Tindu, but it's been a long. I might be thinking of a different band. I
let me
think it's
look it
Brand.
up.
The
Oh
God
yeah,
and
The
the
Devil
Devil
and
Are
God are
Raging.
raging inside me. Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yeah. I listened to that one. I so when I was in high school, and this may or may not be something you know about me. I subscribed to Alternative Press magazine for like 2 or 3 years while we were in high school, and that's like where I got almost all of my music from.
oh okay.
And one of my favorite things that they did, and Brand New was not a part of this, but one of my favorite things they did is every year they would have an article that was highlighting 10 of the best albums from the year a decade prior to that. So, like in
Oh, gotcha.
2007, they did a top 10 of 1997.
Mm-hmm.
See what I mean? Um,
Oh, that's cool.
so yeah, yeah, I really like that feature. They brought it back in more recent years. They didn't do it for a while, but yeah. So Brand New was actually I learned of Brand New from Alternative Press, and that was the record they were promoting at the time was the
Oh,
God
that's
and Devil
also a
Raging
very
Inside Me.
it's a very good record. I just remember Deja and Tendu. Um,
That's
oh
the big
man.
one. So
All right, you're up. Don't say Brand New Deja and Tendu.
no, I think my tastes probably run a little bit older than yours, I imagine. So I'd say one of the most important albums for me was Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. This
Okay,
is the
okay.
album that
You are
has,
going a little back, yeah.
yeah, most of my like big influences are really from like the 60s and 70s, more so than more modern stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah, Pet Sounds is one of my. I mean, I wrote a paper on it in college. The whole like recording process and composition process, all that kind of that. It's a monumental record. I mean, the songwriting in it is incredibly advanced. Not just like the lyrics, but the music itself. I mean, people don't realize "Wouldn't It Be Nice" kind of moves between three different keys throughout the song, and it's only like 3 or 4 minutes long.
It's
It's a pretty
actually two
wild.
minutes. It's
Brian
actually
Wilson
two
was kind of the
minutes
genius.
33.
Yeah, yeah, and it has several key changes in that time frame.
Yeah, because I'm
Very
just
cool
looking at it
album,
right
and
now. I mean, yeah, I love the Beach Boys.
yeah, it's also it's not like a deep cut or anything because that album is like constantly on the lists of like greatest
Hmm.
albums of all time. So it's not like a secret album that people don't know about or anything, but it's one of my favorites.
And it doesn't need to be. So I'm going to, gosh, I wish Mount Rushmore had more than four faces on it. But no, an album very dear and near to my heart is by a band called Jack's Mannequin.
Oh yeah,
The album is called The Glass Passenger. I have their
yeah,
lyrics tattooed on my heart. It's a very important album to me. He's just an incredible pianist.
that's an
He
incredible album too. That's a one of his best works, I would say.
he's an incredible person as well.
Yeah,
Um, so that's number two for me. It's
it's
not,
a good choice.
yeah, I love it. I could listen to it right now. Hang up, Colton. I'm listening to it. All right, you got number two.
So I think most everyone would know one of my biggest influences is Bob Dylan. Um, yeah, he's. I mean, I have so specifically an album that has always stuck out to me by him is actually one of his live albums. It's live at the Royal Albert Hall in 1966. This was a time frame where he was touring and he had gone electric, and people were like very upset about him playing electric. But it's very cool for people that don't know him very well. I feel like it'd be a really interesting introduction because he plays the first half of a set by himself and everybody's kind of chill, whatever, but he's not playing his protest songs that he's known for. He's playing these kind
Mhm.
of weird, surreal, like acid trip songs, you know. But then he comes out with the band, and by the third song, the crowd is actively like rebelling against him. They are like they start clapping in rhythm in a way to prevent his band from playing in rhythm themselves. Somebody towards the end of the concert calls him Judas.
Oh wow.
Uh, yeah, it's very powerful, and the whole time there's this sense of like Bob Dylan versus the audience, which is just a dynamic that I've never seen before in another artist, and it's just an incredible capsule of like what was happening to him at that point in time. It's really interesting.
Thankfully, that wasn't on mine, but it was close. The first vinyl I ever bought was Blood on the Tracks by Bob Dylan.
Excellent one.
So it didn't make my Mount Rushmore. It probably should be on there, to be honest, because it's a great album. Um, but no, my third, and it's not quite as old as the ones you've
Yeah.
mentioned, but it's Crime of the Century by Supertramp.
Oh yeah, Supertramp's awesome. Yeah.
And I think people don't realize how good Supertramp is when they just
No.
hear, Breakfast in America or The
Yeah.
Logical Song or things like that. But if you listen to Crime of the Century, I don't know the name of the pianist off the top of my head, but the guy freaking just
Yeah.
dances across the key. I mean, oh my God, their musicality is incredible.
Supertramp is truly a criminally under-recognized band. They are incredible songwriters. I think it's because so much of their stuff is not like immediately accessible. You know, it's
Mhm.
kind of like a little more challenging than your run-of-the-mill stuff. But yeah, they're incredible band. I love Supertramp.
Well, don't tell my mom that. It's a hilarious story. One of my mom and dad's first dates was at a Supertramp concert.
Of
So
course.
my dad is like, "Hell yeah, I'm going on this date, we're gonna see Supertramp. It's gonna be awesome." And my
Hmm.
mom falls asleep. Like you can't make that up.
Uh, to not to jump ahead, one of my Mount Rushmore people is Jack White.
Oh,
Um,
oh,
we I got to see him back in 2024 when he came to Kansas City, and my wife fell asleep during the show. so, so I know the experience.
that is so good. How do you fall asleep at a Jack White concert? That's what I want to know. I don't know, Colton. You might want
You
to be getting
know,
those
it's
divorce
just not.
papers out. I'm just kidding.
No, she just at the time she was working a job that required to get up early in the morning, and Jack White is definitely not like she's not against Jack White, but it's not her taste. We were there for me.
Oh,
So
okay. He would also probably make it on an eight-faced Mount Rushmore. He's awesome.
yeah, yeah,
What's the
yeah. He's definitely.
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I don't listen to him as much as I used. I don't listen to him as much as I used to. But when he first started his solo career, his first solo record was huge for me. I really liked that record, and I
That
would
one
argue like
was
at that time that was Blunderbuss was the name of that record. That was what 2012, I think, maybe somewhere around that time frame. That was that. I was definitely imitating him a lot at that point in my songwriting career. So
what'd you say the album was called?
Blunderbuss.
Blunderbuss.
Yes, it's an
Eh,
old type of musket,
Oh,
kind of like a yeah. It's like a blue cover with a peacock on it, I believe.
oh yeah, I got it. Okay. My favorite, I love 16 Saltines. That's my favorite Jack
Oh
White song.
yes.
I mean, who can just
Hmm.
talk about eating 16 saltines and then I lick my fingers? Like,
Yeah,
oh my God.
yeah.
Okay.
That's a great song, and that it's so funny. Like he, I feel like as he progresses his solo career, he has songs that it's like this is the White Stripes song. Like I will always keep a
Mhm.
song that sounds like the White Stripes in every album that I make.
Oh, all right. So do we both have one more? Oh, it's got to be a good one. Gosh darn. There's so many. I need to
I have
open
a
up my
feeling
Spotify.
I probably get asked this question more often than you do.
Well, I don't get any questions. I've never been a guest on a podcast. I've only been the host. But no, there is a band, and I get very drawn into piano because that's
Mm.
my main instrument. And so there's a band called Jukebox the Ghost.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
Um, their latest stuff has been a little much for me, but I remember listening to Live and Let Ghosts. That album has like Good Day, Hold It In.
Mhm.
Um, oh my God. He's just an incredible pianist again.
Mhm.
And it got me through a lot in college when I was, not doing the best personally, and it just kind of gave me
Oh,
some hope. So it means
I
a
get
lot
that.
to me. So, all right. So are we going like 60s or are we going like the 40s, Ella Fitzgerald or
No, I don't go that far back. No, I'll give a more modern one actually, because I do have some modern influences. I just really love the 60s and 70s. But no, someone who, again, I wish I had more than just four faces because I could name a lot of people. But um, Brittany Howard of the Alabama Shakes.
okay.
Honestly, if you're not familiar with them, they're like kind of like a rock, funk,
No, I
soul type
am.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she is just a criminally underrated musician, and I mean she's obviously massively successful. It's not like nobody's ever heard of her, but like to do what she does and be like so in the mainstream as she is, and still have so much soul, have so much talent, have like just a very real, authentic feel to it. I feel like that's really hard to hang on to once you reach a certain level of success,
Mhm.
just because you kind of end up becoming a business that's grown so far beyond just you as the artist. But yeah, she just shows so much integrity, and she's just an incredible songwriter. And really, yeah, I could not say better things about Brittany Howard.
No, well, that's great. And it's actually a perfect segue into my next question is I appreciate you as an artist. You were an incredible musician, but like you're not, you know, touring like Taylor Swift or Jack
Sure.
White or whoever we mentioned. So how do you keep yourself grounded knowing you're doing what you're supposed to be doing? And not that, everyone needs to be that, but to just bring that feel, because like I mentioned very, very earlier, or even maybe even offline in that song, it's like, wow, this is really good. So how do you just be like, it's okay that I'm not
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm trying to say?
Yes. Yeah. No, I absolutely do. This is actually a big part of why I opened my own studio in the first place. I don't want to give like too long of an answer, but this is something that
It's
has
okay.
plagued me for several years.
No, take
Basically,
take all the time you need.
part of my realization. So I released my EP in 2021, and I have not released any music since then. That's been
Mhm.
5 years this year. Um, and part of it is that I went through the process of releasing that EP, doing self promoting it, all that kind of stuff. And I put hundreds of hours into making
Mhm.
it, promoting it, all that kind of stuff. And at the end of it, I largely just kind of felt ignored by the larger
Yeah.
music community. And that's fine. I mean, there are so many people making music out there nowadays that it's kind of hard to cut through all of that, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
But basically, I got really down on myself, and I've really struggled in the last few years of like, why am I continuing to do this? Why am I like I'm not making any money at it? I'm not making enough to like make a living at it. I feel like nobody's really listening except for people I kind of coerce into listening, you know. Um, but really, I think what it is you do this stuff because it's important to you. You do it because
Mhm.
it's what keeps you moving forward and it means something to you. And I have really just reached a point in my life where I'm kind of tired of doing things for other people, having a job that builds someone else's business or, whatever. And I just want to be in control of what I do and do what I love and live the life that I want to live. And doing what I do, I wouldn't be able to do that if I belonged to a record label or if I had to answer to someone else, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what we've seen too is the music business has been kind of falling apart for a long time. And I'd say that it was falling apart before 2020, but I think the pandemic accelerated the process. I mean, you see artists who are not necessarily Taylor Swift or Jack White, but like large artists who have a big audience and go tour regularly, they can't tour because the costs of touring have become so prohibitive that they can't do it. It doesn't make financial sense to them. And you have several artists who even talk about like when they go on tour, they are hoping to just break even, not lose money on the tour. And I think for me, what it is creating is I think more and more musicians are beginning to recognize that we have to abandon this infrastructure that we have. We have to change it to where the artists who make the music, who make the whole thing work in the first place, are the priority and the focus. Because if we're just raking in money for record executives and all that kind of stuff, like we're not helping anyone. We're not helping ourselves. And it's just I think for me, it's really pivoted around to kind of what I mentioned in my business of not trying to be a mega superstar. You're trying to be a middle class musician, basically. Like people seem to think you're either poor and obscure or you're a massive mega superstar celebrity. But there's so many people who are in the in between that just kind of get overlooked. And I think that what we have to do is start building a world where artists can build communities that are built around themselves. And it's not dependent upon having like connections to the massive mainstream media network to build your career. It's about more about like building up a career where you feel respected and the people that listen to you actually like you. And, it's much more real and authentic than this kind of huge monolithic thing that the music industry is right now. So that's kind of the future that I'm working towards, is one where artists are more in control of what they do rather than all the riffraff.
No, I couldn't agree more. And I'll say it again, it's exactly what my podcast is trying to do. I don't need to interview Jack White. I don't need to interview Taylor Swift. I need to interview Colton Cox. I need to interview Peanut Butter Sunday, a band with
Mm-hmm.
10,000 views on Spotify. I need to interview Joey Robon Hache, an incredible Acadian artist. And they pour just as much energy with
Mm-hmm.
1/10% of the resources that those other people have,
I
and
say
their
this all the
music is
time.
and their music is just as good, if not better.
I say this all the time that I think you will find better, more unique, more original music in your local communities than you will ever find on the national scale. Because those people, like, not only that, you're going to see a much more personal connection to the music than someone
Mhm.
who writes music to be listened to by millions of people. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but I would argue that people could find a more real, a more personal level of lyrics and musicianship going to their local bar and seeing a local singer songwriter than just going to see Taylor Swift, who already has billions of dollars and like her songs are written for millions of people to connect with. They have to be generic in some
Yep.
way for people to connect to it. Not talking shit on Taylor Swift or anybody else that does pop music. It's
You
just
can
kind
though.
of
You can though. It's okay.
I mean, it's just kind of the nature of the beast. You're writing songs in a way that is meant to be to appeal to a large amount of people, and
Mhm.
it's you. The more you do that, the harder it is to get that more unique, that more personal connection to the people that listen to your stuff.
No, I think the best thing you said in our entire conversation was being a middle class musician.
Yeah.
that really resonated with me. So I don't go to big concerts. I don't even know if I've even been to a big concert before. I think I saw oh, what's that Christmas band? They are very good.
ELO, or are we talking about no, Trans Siberian Orchestra?
Oh yeah.
That's
So I saw Trans Siberian Orchestra. They were very good. So I've been to
yeah.
that, but I don't want to go see Taylor Swift. I don't want to go see any of those big names. I love going to small intimate shows,
Mhm.
hanging out with the band after, buying their merch, talking to them,
I mean,
seeing
that's
it.
what
So
art is
like,
supposed to really be about. You know, it's supposed to be about connection and community and like building real, authentic spaces in the world where it's really hard to do that in our society. You know,
um,
and again, I mean, it sounds like I'm just totally against mainstream artists and stuff like that. And in a way, I have been my entire life. But like, for me, it's just I've just seen so many people who are not big artists perform, either because I'm playing a show with them or because I just chose to see them. And I just get so much more out of those shows than I do
oh
going to see. I don't know. It's so much more inspirational to me. I mean,
no,
I've seen Jack White, I've seen big names, and I love seeing them, but I don't get the same feeling that I get when I go to see someone else do something I've never seen someone do before, you know?
yeah, no, absolutely, 100%. You couldn't have said it better. And that even when I go to a smaller venue and I'm thinking, have you heard of the band Tiny Moving Parts?
I haven't, no. Mm-mm.
Oh, they're like a big math rock band,
Sure, sure.
which is because I'm a dork. But anyways, what I'm saying is like sometimes you'll go to like a show where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna see Tiny Moving Parts and they're gonna be awesome,
Mhm.
and they were awesome. But oh, there was this opener, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh God, these guys are really good. Like, holy cow, that's
I
really
have I have
neat.
a perfect
Like,
example of that myself. I saw Sean Lennon, John Lennon's son, in Oklahoma City, of all places. And the band that opened for him was Deerhoof, which I had never heard of before. And they've actually been around since the 90s. And they're just like kind of a weird, psychedelic, noise rocky kind of band. Um, but they were incredible. I mean, honestly, some of the best musicians I've ever seen live. Um, yeah, they're a pleasant surprise, Deerhoof. They have a video of them performing at the Super Collider. Well, I forget what that thing is called. The Hadron Collider, I think is what it's called.
oh yeah, the Hadron Collider, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
They performed at that for whatever reason at some point in time. So
well, oh my God, Colton, we've had an incredible conversation. We've covered a lot of ground.
mhm.
We've covered a lot of ground, but it's been amazing. And everyone listening, check out his stuff. Not just check out Colton's stuff. Check out, as he said, your local bands, your
Mhm.
local music shops. Just there's more to music than what's playing on the radio.
Not even just
So,
music. There's so much more to your life at your hometown that you
mhm,
just ignore because you live there. Why would you
yep.
pay attention to it? You know?
No, yeah. Go to a local grocery store. Don't go to,
hmm
Hy-Vee or in Salina Dillon's.
Listen, I live in a place that doesn't have Dylan's now, and I miss it.
But but no, but seriously, support your community.
Yeah.
And Colton's a great example of that. And so check out all of his stuff. I'll post every link I can, and I cannot wait to get this edited down and recorded. So Colton, seriously, thank you so much for doing this. It's been really cool to reconnect with you, hearing your story, just kind of walking through what your life has looked like. And you're building something really special. And just know that even get emotional. Sorry. Uh, people like people like me do feel that. So never feel like you're underappreciated.
Well, I appreciate that, Dan. That means a lot. I mean, that's the whole reason why I do this in the first place. So,
I know. Sorry, everyone. We're gonna sign off, and we'll see you next time. on Stream of Consciousness with Dan.